Now, on Saturday in Oslo, it was the big Pride Day, the biggest celebration day in the capital city of their Pride month, and a shooter killed 2 people, injured 21. He's in police custody. The police have said already that it is a terrorist attack, an extreme Islamist terrorist attack. It is shocking and awful. We've seen similar attacks in America and elsewhere. But here's the funny thing. If you today were to pick up the British newspapers, even the big ones, the big titles, there's barely a mention. So I turned to the Times, the establishment paper, who without doubt have the best foreign news coverage of any daily paper in the country. Big article on Ukraine, big article on Russia, no surprise there. Big article on the USA after the Supreme Court ruling. Big article on Colombia, big article on Spain, South Africa, France, Italy, Vatican City. I mean, there's wonderful coverage of everything happening around the world, and news in brief. Just a couple of very short sentences. Blink and you've missed it. Why do the establishment not want to talk about this? Well, I think the real truth of it is that they're worried that the attacks, especially on gay people, are something that are likely to increase over the course of the coming years. We saw a similar instance of people being murdered in Reading a couple of years ago, and an unwillingness to talk about it. And whenever it is debated, we'll be told that the person that's committed the act is suffering from mental health issues. We also publicly never get to grips with a proper debate about Islam and the need, in the view of many, for some kind of reformation to go on. I think we should be debating this issue. We should be talking about this issue. We should be worried about this issue. After all, if any public figure said anything, even inadvertently, that was taken to be an anti-gay smear, they would be cancelled and hounded out of their job. And yet this we don't talk about. Well, joining me is Dr Taj Hargey, Provost of the Oxford Institute for British Islam and the Imam of the Oxford Islamic Congregation. And I'm very, very pleased, Taj, to have you here. Now, the Quran is something that is deeply held and respected within your religion. And it's pretty clear that homosexuality is wrong and that it's a sin, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't condone homosexuality, just like Judaism and Christianity. So it's taking the same stance as the Abrahamic religions. However, while you might not approve of homosexuality, there's nothing in the Quran that talks about anyone taking the life of any homosexual. That is totally forbidden. It's not possible. In chapter 5, verse 32, it says, if you take one life, it's like you killed all of humanity. If you save one life, it's like you saved all of humanity. So this notion that this man, a 42-year-old Iranian man who got the Norwegian citizenship, and he takes it upon himself to apparently go wreak vengeance and mayhem in this gay bar, this is totally un-Islamic, un-Quranic, and cannot be condoned in any way, shape or form. And I have to say, we have to send condolences to the people who lost their lives, and those people are now recovering in hospital, and hopefully the death toll doesn't increase.
The difference, of course, in 2022 is that our interpretation, especially of the Old Testament of the Bible, is not literal in perhaps a way that it might have been centuries ago. The difference, of course, with the Quran is it is the later parts of the Quran that tend to be far less peaceful in terms of the way in which it's written.
With due respect, Nigel, you are quoting to me Orientalist perspectives.
Orientalist perspectives?
Yes, because this idea that there's sort of 2 parts of the Quran, that, you know, the first part, Muhammad is talking peaceful stuff, yes, and the next time he's talking about belligerent stuff. No. I mean, if you really understand the Quran, you'll know, listen, this is a seamless narrative. And he's dealing with issues. Once he is trying to initially present his message of monotheism, that is one God, one humanity, one destiny. And then when he's in Medina as a ruler, he's now trying to implement this. So when it comes to implementation, he's not talking about the fact that you must go and kill people.
But it's still quite aggressive language. But isn't the real point here? I made the point that the older parts, the Old Testament, we don't take literally as we might have done back in history. But that good Muslims do take the Quran pretty literally.
But even if we take the Quran literally, it doesn't talk about killing homosexuals.
Okay, I get that. I accept that. No, I fully accept that. It doesn't condone it. It thinks it's a sin, but it does not.
Right.
No, it does not support violence, and I get that totally. But there are, it would appear, and the worry, and the reason there's a news blackout on this, I'm pretty clear.
Yes.
There is great fear that there are more and more young Muslim men who will take the view, this is an abomination and this is what I'm going to do to deal with it.
Yeah, but where do they get that information? Not from the Quran. They get it from the toxic trio we spoke about. The idea that the Sharia, which is concocted man-made law, the Hadith, which is supposedly the sayings of Muhammad, and the fatwas, the religious opinions of individual clerics, they take these three things and present that as the rationale for doing bad things, not just homosexuals, but anyone else.
I get that, but here's the problem. If I'm a Roman Catholic, I look to the Pope for guidance. If I'm an Anglican, I look to the Archbishop of Canterbury. I'm not particularly a fan of the current one, but who does one look to?
Well, I think this is both the
Islamic Church. Who's the leader?
Right. This is both the weakness and the strength of Islam. The Pope or the Archbishop of Canterbury is top-down governance.
Yes.
At least in Islam, it's bottom-up. And I think what's important...
But it's not working because people are drawing their own interpretations.
Right. It's not working
without leadership.
Because, for example, in this country, why isn't it working? I'm the head of the Oxford Institute for British Islam. Do we get any support from the general public or from the establishment? We are talking about Islam that's inclusive, integrated and indigenous. We're talking about Islam that's egalitarian, enlightened and erudite.
I'm thrilled to hear it.
Yeah. So where's the support for this? So if you're now saying, nothing is coming from the bottom up, yeah, we are from the bottom up.
Not for one moment. Not for one moment. And by the way, I have worked and spoken with and to many Muslim groups over the years whose interpretation and desire to live in a settled way in this country is as resolute as yours are. And I absolutely respect that. So this is not about everybody in the religion. It is about, does the religion need a reformation so there is a lead figure that it can look to?
It needs a reformation and enlightenment, a renaissance, however you want to couch it. But why do we need a top-down figure? I think this idea that, everything comes from the top, I think this is an archaic concept. We really need organic growth. And for example, if we can have Muslims all over the world, but say in Britain especially, questioning things. Now, the Quran says one thing, for example, that there's no stoning to death. The Hadith, the Sharia, and the Fatwa, these concocted man-made things, says, you need to
we do have a problem. We do have a problem.
Right,
there are growing numbers of people who claim to be as devout to the religion as you do, who are taking a different interpretation.
No, they may claim to be devout, Nigel, but they do not using their brains. In fact, the Quran says this book is only for those who use their brains. It says repeatedly that. It doesn't want zombified believers. What's the purpose of God sitting wherever he is and expecting a whole bunch of zombies to believe in him? He's given you and me a brain to choose. And so he's telling us that this book is only for those who wish to think. Now, when we think and ponder, then we must allow the gays, the trans, and all the other groups in our society equal rights. Not better rights and more rights, equal rights. That means equal protection, equal safeguarding, and so forth. And they are entitled to a place in the sun.
I wish everybody in the religion of Islam felt the way you do. Thank you for coming in and debating this. It's a very, very important debate going forward if we're going to live in a peaceful, harmonious and happy society. Taj Hargey, thank you very much indeed for coming in.